All right, I believe we are live. Hold on. Sorry about that. That might have sounded weird. What's up, everybody? Clown for Prez here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a reaction to a Hunter Biden interview here. He has come out with an interview with Channel 5. It looks like maybe one of the local channels, wherever he's at. Now, we all know who Hunter Biden is. He's a person who well, he's the only official pardon of the Biden administration that wasn't signed by AutoPen. That's one thing we know about him. And he also has had a very, very dark past with things including substance abuse. And apparently he's recovered. And now he's in a position to preach about those things. Allegedly. Let's see it. This is a man who's got a second chance, and he wants everyone to hear his opinion. Probably got a second, third, fourth, fifth chance. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what he's got to say.
I was drinking so much alcohol, almost a handle of vodka a day. And alcohol is the most destructive drug, not just to your body, but it puts you in more danger than any other drug that I've ever experienced. And then you add on top of that the amount of crack that I was using at the time. And
yeah, alcohol is destructive. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was the other thing that got him.
Crack cocaine, in terms of your physical health, is not as dangerous as the situation that you...
Yeah, it's definitely not as dangerous or anything. Remember, this is a man who claims he's recovered from an addiction, is telling you how something is not as dangerous as something else. Okay, justification. Moving on.
You put yourself in to be able to obtain it.
How do you get crack?
One of the things I don't want to do is give a how-to to any moron like myself that may think that it's a good idea. But crack cocaine is a...
Listen to what he just said. Hold up.
But crack cocaine is
No, hold on.
Any moron like myself that may think that it's a good idea. But crack...
So he still thinks it's a good idea.
Cocaine is a, I am fully aware when I'm talking about it in relationship to my own experience with it. It is still a shocking thing for most people because we have been fed this perception of crack cocaine. It's more than just a drug. It's more than, like, if you say meth or if you say heroin or if you say cocaine. It comes with a whole bunch of different baggage. And
okay. Is this man advertising the thing, or is he supposed to be like an advocate for recovery? Because the way he's making it sound like I'm about to go over there, because it's not that bad for the health, and it's just, you know, moving on.
Because of that, places that you can go get it are some of the most dangerous places in whatever location you happen to be in, and it's everywhere. Mainly for that reason, I learned how to make my own. Have you read...
Okay.
I'm going to pretend like you're not getting attacked by a bee right now.
Hey, it's all right.
Keep my train of thought.
Without them, we would all...
Just trying to root, by the way, that's true too. Birds aren't real, but bees are.
Oh, this is
Imagine
terrible.
being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Good morning, America and the world. My name is Andrew Callahan, the host and creator of Channel 5, the largest independent crowd-funded newsroom in the United States.
So this
the
is like a
following
parody.
interview is with Hunter Biden, the controversial, storied son of former President Joe Biden, who issued a full and unconditional pardon for Hunter during his final month in office, shortly after Hunter was found guilty of tax-related crimes. And
So what is this, like a parody news channel? It's not even a real news channel. It's just, yeah, it's a parody. Anyway. Let's go ahead and Continue here.
being an illegal drug user in possession of a firearm. Hunter has yet to speak to the media about this pardon and hasn't done a televised interview in years. In fact, aside from a very limited and controlled press run to promote his new book, Beautiful Things of 2021, Hunter hasn't given a single statement to the media, especially in regard to the laptop scandal that was a crucial component in the Stop the Steal movement back in 2020, wherein millions of Trump supporters alleged that Joe Biden was being controlled and manipulated by nefarious foreign actors who leveraged their business connections with Hunter to peddle influence in the White House. As I mentioned,
So this is very particular that he's talking about. He's making it seem like a very, very small thing, but this actually was a very, very large thing. So there was an oil company in Ukraine called Prez I, and what Joe Biden essentially did is, like I think in 2012, there was a prosecutor in Ukraine who was trying to go after Prez I for corruption or something underlying. I don't know the full details. I can't break it down right now. It's going to take too long because that's a whole different conflict, whole different topic. You're going to have to get into Nord Stream 2. You're going to have to get into a whole bunch of things about oil trade if we were to get into it. So we're going to skip out on that. But essentially what it breaks down to is Joe Biden did fire the prosecutor that was investigating Hunter Biden while he was working for Prez I. Not a very small thing, and the reason he had the job is because that was the current sitting son of the that was the son of the current sitting vice president of the United States. So that is a very, very big political thing if you were thinking, kind of put in perspective, and he's just kind of brushing it off like it's just a minor thing. Let's go back a little bit. Maybe I'll miss something and he has a different point.
Controlled and manipulated by nefarious foreign actors who leveraged their business connections with Hunter to peddle influence in the White House. As I mentioned, this alleged intel connects to private messages and emails that were found on a laptop that Rudy Giuliani and his lawyer claim Hunter left in a computer repair shop in Delaware sometime in 2020, whereafter the laptop.
Now, the laptop has been confirmed. I'm not sure why he's going with a bait from a perspective that the laptop isn't a confirmed thing. Moving on.
Top repairman John Paul Mac Isaac, pictured here, essentially leaked its contents to the world. Along with evidence of alleged corruption, tax evasion, and influence peddling, what was also leaked from the laptop
it's not
is nearly
even
a decade of private photos
just because
of
it's
Hunter
the way someone looks, that doesn't disqualify from them being an expert or something. So he puts an image of this guy like he's just a
John Paul Mac Isaac, pictured here.
So this is a photo that's just supposed to discredit this guy because of the way he looks. Some of the smartest people I know on this planet don't look normal.
Essentially
or
leaked
whatever
its
you perceive as normal.
Along with evidence of alleged corruption, tax evasion, and influence peddling, what was also leaked from the laptop is nearly a decade of private photos of Hunter in the thralls of crack cocaine addiction. These photos, if you can remember, circulated like wildfire across the internet, painting a sleazy portrait of a man on the edge, something of a Pennsylvania Avenue Charlie Sheen minus the HIV diagnosis, which if you've seen the photos, is a major blessing. All right, in today's interview, we're gonna discuss the laptop.
I get it, it's a parody, but if you're trying to do an interview and you essentially just discredit everything that they are accused of and just brush off everything, just introduce them as who they are. You don't have to cover for them for who they are. That doesn't make sense to me.
The 2020 election, crack cocaine, and more, with an emphasis on recovery and away from gossip and family drama. And by the way, if you'd like to listen to or download an audio version of this interview, I've uploaded a crispy WAV file to the podcast feed of our long-form program, 5Cast, which is available.
He also said, this guy's not very pleasant, is he?
Now on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon. All right, let's get into it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Hunter Biden. All right, Mr. Biden, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. How long has it been since you've done a formal sit-down interview?
You know, it's been a while. Been a long while. I had a conversation with Jamie Harrison, who's the former chair of the DNC.
Keeping out on his body language. Dude, the way he's sitting. Normal, but look at his hands. He's just constantly grabbing something, which is something recovering or people that, you know, are currently using do?
He's a great friend, loyal. And I was down in South Carolina for other things and kind of like family down there. So I sat down with him and talked about some stuff, but nothing like this.
What made you feel like now's the time for a official, unedited long form?
Well, I don't know when it is the right time or not the right time. I'm an admirer of your work, and we have a mutual acquaintance. It didn't take me much to agree to be really interested. I think the work that you've done is some of the most interesting commentary on the moment we're living in.
I don't think Hunter Biden knows anything about this guy. Straight up. If listen to us the way this guy's describing him. It's like describing someone you don't know anything about, but you're trying to freeform an essay essentially.
Nothing like this.
What made you feel like now's the time for a official, unedited long form?
Well, I don't know when it is the right time or not the right time. I'm an admirer of your work, and we have a mutual acquaintance. It didn't take me much to agree to be really interested. I think the work that you've done is some of the most interesting commentary on the moment we're living in.
Oh, notice how he doesn't go into specifics. This man doesn't know anything about this guy. This is just a PR thing.
And moment that we seem to be continuing to live in from 2020 on. I hadn't seen much of the earlier work that you had done, but I do know that
He did call out something. It was from the 2020, and once Joe Biden did become president, things did become very turbulent.
I at least appreciate the sincerity with which you approach everything that you do.
I appreciate it. You said 2020 on. Do you feel like that's the year the world kind of went crazy?
No. I think that's the year that we all kind of woke up to the realization that things are crazy. But no, I think that they've been going crazy for a while.
But that's wrong, because things were in 2020 before COVID. People were actually buying things. There was a shift. I remember between 2016 you could buy cars for between 2016 and 2020 you could buy cheap cars. You could buy cars. Remember I was selling cars around 2020 2019, and there was a 2016 Mustangs were going for $16,000 to $18,000 out the door. That is ridiculously cheap. In combination with people getting tax returns, people were able to afford vehicles and not get into long crazy debt, even though they still did. But moving on.
Wow. And I don't know whether crazy is the right word. I think that
one of the great challenges in this world
we're gonna
is
skip
knowing
these commercials.
enough about a subject to think you're right.
I can't
I don't know
stand
how
you.
interested people are in my take on why I think the world is a little bit crazy right now. Crazy. But no, I think that they've been going crazy for a while. And I don't know whether crazy is the right word. I think that I don't know how interested people are.
Who's Dave? He has the way he speaks is very they and us.
That things are crazy. But no, I think that they've been going crazy for a while. And
He's
I don't know
talking
whether
about things
crazy is
being
the right
going crazy.
word. I think that I don't know how interested people are in my take on why I think the world is a little bit crazy right now.
Well, I think there's probably millions of people out there who just want to know how you're doing.
Personally, I'm great. I tell everybody, and Melissa gets kind of upset with me because it has been obviously a difficult time. You know, the past 5 years have not, at least from any outsider's perspective, been fun. But for me, as a person in recovery, and being able to maintain that recovery through this and stay clean and sober throughout it, so one thing I allow myself to take some pride in. And I know about
That's one thing I really listen. I get people in recovery, and I get it takes strength to be in recovery and be the way you are, but they seem to make that like that's all they are. You know what I mean? I support everybody recovering and everything like that, but that doesn't mean your opinion on the subject is now more relevant on something. But whatever.
my life is that I survived almost certain death. And I mean, I don't know if you read my book, but I'm pretty transparent about it. Having
So basically, he thinks because of his past experience, because he almost died due to his actions and his choices and his addictions, is his opinion is now somehow elevated.
Survived that hell kind of prepared me to be able to make it through kind of the public humiliation that I don't know any other way to put it, that I've experienced over the.
There was no public humiliation. No, but he had the Republicans were pushing to get the files on his laptop out. The Burisma you were making while you were doing a whole bunch of drugs, you were making $2 million per year, or no, I think it was 500,000. It was somewhere between 500,000 and 2 million per year for an advisory role that he did not even go to. Like, he was just going to Ukraine, making deals with people. So I don't know.
Past close to 5 years now, and it doesn't seem to stop. But I'm more grounded in who I am and what matters to me, and what I'm grateful for on a daily basis than I've ever been in my life.
Oh, you should be grateful because you got a father who kept you out of jail. To where if a person who was just a normal person got into the same things that you did get into, they would be jailed. They would be in jail for the rest of their lives. They wouldn't have any choice to recovery. They wouldn't be able to do any interviews. Meanwhile, you're able to go sit down and do an interview because your father, who was the president of the United States and a powerful man on this planet, decided to give you a whole list of privileges that you shouldn't have. Moving on.
And physically, I'm in a hell of a lot better shape than I was since my last drink or drug 6 years ago.
So it's been 6 years.
Yeah, just over 6 years.
When you say you almost died, can you kind of give us some more context?
6 years. Do you guys remember anything about someone bringing in something into the White House while the Biden administration was in there? And when it was a illegal substance that they found? You guys probably do. I don't think it's been 6 years. I don't think this man is honest.
Text.
I was a drinker, and at the end, my addiction had progressed so much that it was potentially deadly on a daily basis. The thing that was the most concerning and the most real about facing death was in actuality the alcohol. Once you fall into,
You hear that phrasing, facing death, it's like he's doing this like almost with pride. This man is dishonest.
real about facing death was in actuality the alcohol. Once you fall into that lifestyle, and I wouldn't call it a lifestyle because there's no life to it at all.
I've known plenty of people that can drink a few beers and they're fine. That's not where those thoughts and those things come from. Those things are a thing of the heart. They're not a thing of the they're not a thing of the alcohol. It's because your heart tells what it wants. Your mind does those actions. That's how it is. So if you're doing actions while you're under the influence of alcohol, that's just you're doing the actions of your heart. Weird.
All. You enter a completely different world in which you're living kind of completely outside of the bounds of any communal norms. I don't know. It's
So he's basically using alcohol as kind of his scapegoat, that because he was under the influence of alcohol, because it is so much worse than, well, apparently it's worse than for you than crack, that because of the influence of alcohol, he became this monster.
it's a scary place to be. And I met some of the most truly heroic, astounding, thoughtful, kind people that I've ever met in my life that are living, lives of quiet desperation, not quiet, very loud desperation. But even in that, found space in their hearts for empathy and kindness. And I've met some of the most awful, predatory people that I've ever experienced in my life.
So you feel that the thralls of
They said this is unedited. Look at this jump. This is clearly edited, and he can't string anything together. Listen to what he just said.
Lives of quiet desperation, not quiet, very loud desperation. But even in that, found space in their hearts for empathy and kindness. And I've met some of the most
It's like a middle schooler who's giving you like a breakdown on Socrates or something. Like, oh, these are deep thoughts. Okay.
Just awful, predatory people that I've ever experienced in my life.
So you feel that the thralls of addiction do oftentimes swallow up very genuine, earnest people, but at the same time, that underbelly is home to a specific breed of evil as well?
One of the things that I've realized is that addiction is one of the most universal conditions. I don't know many people that have not been impacted by it in some way, whether it's addiction to drugs or addiction to behaviors. They have the same dilatory effect on not
He's
just
an
you,
expert.
but more importantly, on
Okay.
your immediate community, your family, and then it just spirals outward. And I don't know anybody that hasn't been impacted by drugs and alcohol in a really significant way, or at least a way.
Yes, but that does not excuse going down that path.
In which it's created trauma in their own personal lives and the lives of those that they really love. And so while it's universal, it's something that we rarely talk about. And it's kind of the way in which we treat drug use it's something that someone else is doing, and that someone else happens to be your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, yourself, your coworker. And it only becomes a problem when it becomes a problem for you.
Do you think that you would have been treated differently by the media if your addiction was to an opiate or perhaps?
These guys are literally just, oh no, it's not that bad. It was because of the alcohol. And do you think it was because the media was harsh on me? Do you think it's because this man has not lived a hard life? I want you guys to understand that. This man has not a hard life. He has lived a life of privilege. His father has been in office, in politics his entire life. He has had a silver spoon. He has been able to go to the best colleges, best education, best everything, and he still ended up being, well, an addict. That's what he became. I want you guys to understand that. And here he is giving an interview on how reflective he is of his life.
Perhaps methamphetamine as opposed to.
First, we offer overnight boarding. Your
There's
pet
a
will stay
commercial.
overnight in your
But
sitter's
he's
home
honestly-
and not only be treated like
Hold
part
on.
of the
Sorry about that. He's honestly even defending it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the issue. Is he's not even he's not targeting the substance. He's saying, oh, it's because of the alcohol. It's because of the alcohol. It's like, not. Come on, man. I've known plenty of people that their only substance they do is alcohol, and it is a substance. It's right, but that doesn't excuse it. Excessive abuse of it. That's your choice. All right.
by your house to
Crack, which kind of has a racialized context to it.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Because it depends upon what media you're talking about. Because like, what is the media? You know, I think it was just an added bonus for them that they could say crack addict and everybody would go, oh my God, he's a monster. So I think for those.
Notice once again, he's saying he isn't a monster. He's not taking accountability for anything whatsoever. He's excusing everything and is now preaching to us.
That wanted to use it as a bludgeon. It's easier when you slap the word crack addict onto it.
And keep in mind, the same media that he's covered for him during 2020, during the laptop era and everything like that, he is now slapping it across the board saying how harsh they were, when almost all media actually ran cover and protected him.
It made me a lot easier target for the Don Juniors of the world, you know, the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, just because of their inherent kind of meanness about things. But I'm not.
Oh, yeah, no, totally innocent. Just a man that's, you know, being caught with a whole bunch of things that incriminate and that people go to prison for. Typical people get locked up for very, very harsh sentences and are never able to recover and go into a huge, huge cycle of horrible things. Meanwhile, you're out here giving interviews. No one needs to be upset, right?
Not a victim here. I was a crack addict. You know, I wrote about it. I was transparent about it. I wasn't naive to the idea that somehow that would be something that anyone or everyone would be able to fully comprehend and have empathy for. We're lacking empathy
So look at this. Look at this. They said this was unedited. Keep that in mind. Look at this. Look at how
I'm
this is
naive to
edited
the
right
idea
there.
that somehow that would be something that anyone or everyone would be able to fully comprehend and have empathy for. We're lacking empathy
His hand
across the board,
doesn't make
not
sense.
just for Hunter Biden. But I guess I was a little bit surprised
Probably
in
burped.
terms of a lot of people in the press,
But it's dishonest to
whether
say
it
it's
was the New
unedited.
York Times or the New York Post, kind of dismissed addiction as somehow unique to my family, or without taking into account what they were doing to other people that were looking to get clean and sober. One of the things about
Most of the people that they caught with crack, they jailed for a very long time. There's a lot of people that are in jail for that, actually. It's okay, but here you are.
getting clean and sober, at least I found, I don't know what your experience in your life or with your friends or others is. One of the things that keeps us in the cycle of addiction is our guilt and our shame, is the lies we tell ourselves and the lies that we tell the people that we care about the most. And you get clean and you get sober, and what ends up happening is you still hold on to these secrets. Like, I smoke crack. I was a crack smoker. They know that I did coke.
Look at the way he just said that. Just look.
And what ends up happening is you still hold on to these secrets.
Look at his eyes.
Like, I smoke crack. I was a crack smoker. They know that I did cocaine, or they know that I was drinking, but they don't know that I was also an inveterate drug user. And so you keep that secret, and that guilt kind of boils up. And the only place that you can talk about it is in rooms full of virtual strangers, which is really helpful. But it isn't it doesn't release you from that awful feeling that I'm about to be found out, and that anxiety.
The awful feeling of I'm about to be found out. Not the realization of what you're doing to yourself, that this is bad. The realization of I'm about to be found out.
It doesn't release you from that awful feeling that I'm about to be found out, and that anxiety. And so then you get triggered.
So he gets anxiety from being found out that he's doing bad things. That's what. Yes, that's how you know things are bad.
It doesn't release you from that awful feeling that I'm about to be found out, and that anxiety. And so then you get triggered. Your brain tells you to do the only thing that it's learned how to do, is that you need to save yourself. And the fastest way to save yourself is a drink or a drug. So you get caught in this loop. And the favor that they did for me is I don't have any more secrets. Now, not everything that's been said about me is true, but there are the things that most people would be very embarrassed about. I've been very open about. I spent more time.
He was never open about it. They're just in the open now, and he has to live with it. It's not admitting. It's just literally just being caught saying, "Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I had no repercussions. I had nothing that was done about it, and here I am." But hey,
On my hands and knees, picking through rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled crack cocaine. I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone.
he does not blink. Look at that. Look at that too. Keep in mind, he does not blink. That whole sentence. Look at his pupils too.
I've been
look at
very
this
open
interview.
about. I spent
Look
more
at his
time
pupils.
on my hands and knees, picking through
So look at his pupils. Very, 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 very small. Right? Very, very small. Look at his face. He does not blink.
rugs, smoking anything that even remotely resembled
He
crack
blinks.
cocaine.
He does not.
I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone, and so I don't get triggered in the same way. But the
That's
thing
weird.
that scares me is for people that look at the way that I'm treated in the media, whatever the hell the media is, and think, do I want to get honest? I mean, seems to me, if you look at that as a test case, better to keep some things unsaid. And I think that's really...
Did you just see that? Listen to what he said.
Is for people that look at the way that I'm treated in the media, whatever the hell the media is, and think, do I want to get honest? I mean, seems to me, if you look at that as a test case, better to keep some things unsaid. And I think...
So he said, should I be honest, essentially? No, it's because things come out that are truthful. It hurts me that I should keep secrets.
That's really dangerous for people, at least in my experience with recovery.
That man's not
Hi,
recovered.
my name is Steve Gross. I'm
Okay, that's gross. That man is 100% still. Look, I don't know how to say it, but that does not sound like someone that's remorseful or even cares that they were caught with some things. So here it is. We're gonna stop it here.